We lived next door to Bart, like I said, and Bart and Ted, they were in high school together, and I was like in like 7th grade, I think, like 6th, 7th grade, when they were playing in Gravy Train, which was their first band, like in high school. Ted was starting to play there, which was even in itself like really cool, because he was, you know, he was only like a junior in high school or whatever, and it was exciting for him to play with those dudes. So me and Justin went down there with him, and he was like, kind of said before he went on stage, he's like, I'm not gonna play one of the songs, you know, I'm gonna play one last song, and I want you to get up and play that song, because I had played him a song earlier, like that afternoon, and he's like, you know, and I just thought he was kidding, and I was like, oh, and then he like was like, all right, well, I got one more song, but I'm actually not gonna play it. My friend Connor is gonna play a song. That's when I started, like, I don't know, thinking of it like, shit, I gotta like write enough songs to play a set at Kilgore's, you know. Ted was the first person that really like I guess heard me play songs and was like excited. He even brought like a 4-track over to my parents' house and like recorded me, like first recording ever did, which was the cassette tape, Water, and let's put out my tape, and then we put out Polecat, Ted's band. We all had this sort of obsession with Casher's songs, and we all go to his shows together, and we're like, God, if we could just get enough money together to put out Slow Down CD, that would be fucking awesome. It was a shitload of money, so we went around and collected money from everyone that liked Slow Down and wanted to see Slow Down's CD come out. I listen to that stuff now, and it's just like, I mean, a lot of it's like kind of dated, but then there's still some songs, it's just like unbelievable, you know? Tim and I have kind of become friends, and we're just like hanging out a lot. I don't know if it's his idea or my idea, but we just decided, you know, to be in a band. And then there was this really shy, cute roommate of Ted's that we liked a lot. His name was Rob Namsel. Playing with Tim, he was like the one that really like kind of put it together for me. Commander Venus, Do You Feel at Home was the first time I had ever done anything that wasn't just 4-track. We were doing Commander Venus, which at the time was like my main focus, and I thought that, you know, that was really what was gonna, I don't know, I guess that was where all my passion was or whatever. The whole time I've been just doing acoustic songs in my basement on 4-track. The recordings were horrible, and the songs were pretty horrible too, but, you know, I just remember coming home from school every day and just, you know, just start recording. The only people that heard the recordings were, you know, just really few people, like, you know, Ted or Rob. It was really lo-fi and really, you know, whatever, just homemade.
Just let me turn the amps way so you can hear nothing.
The first one was pretty much all me. I mean, I think Neely sang on a song, and like Matt Bowen, Ted maybe played on. I mean, there's a few other people on that record, I don't even remember, but it's pretty much, I mean, I was doing it all on like my dad's like reel-to-reel TIAC 4-track machine, which is, you know, prehistoric and broke a lot on me. Mike kind of, I guess, decided that he liked my songs and wanted to help me, and he hadn't really, I mean, up to this point, AJ had been the only one that had recorded any of the music. He learned to basically start from scratch with producing records, and I was just like still really learning how to write songs and sing, so it was a good mutually beneficial. We did half the Letting Off the Happiness at my parents' house in Omaha, and then Mike and I drove down to Athens, Georgia, and recorded the other half with Andy. I definitely remember Rob's reaction once I came back from Athens with those mixes, and we kind of put the two sessions together. And once that record came out, I went on a couple, like actually, at least tours where we broke even.
We played in apartments and, you know, houses.
Just driving around in, you know, a Honda, but having like the time of our lives.
It was such a blast. I mean, it was a party, you know. I mean, we didn't have anything to worry about, you know, bass drum in the back seat with me.
We played to average of about 10 people a night, I guess.
Was a sweet smile, and then a denial. Hey, you're just trying to be nice. But there's a meaning to every fleeting.
Having people like come to the show and know the song, or at least have some idea what you're about, was a totally new experience and made it feel a lot more real, I guess.
I know you try to play it cool, but there's some thoughts you just can't hide.
We recorded Fevers and Mirrors at Mike's house in Lincoln, and we're just kind of like basically shut ourselves in his house. It was like the dead of winter.
That was me and Mike and Connor.
We just stayed inside his house for like a month and recorded basically like around the clock. It felt more, at least to me, more like urgent to make this thing and like get it out. Like once we, you know, mixed and mastered it and started giving copies to people, it was like, you know, everything changed. I didn't really feel I guess this was gonna change my life when the record came out. You know, I wasn't sure of that, but I mean, it totally did.
Did you expect it all to stop at the wave of your hand? Like the sun's just gonna drop. If it's not, you demand well.
I started that next semester, but quit school within like weeks of starting that because we got offered some tour, and it was just like, all right.
Is he coughing now on a bathroom floor for every speck of tile? There's 1,000 more you won't ever see, but must hold inside yourself eternally.
Each record I made, it was like Mike was getting more and more stuff and becoming, you know, a better and better engineer and producer. And by the time Lifted came, it was like I sort of had this idea, and it seemed, you know, sort of ridiculous. That's the nice thing about recording with someone that is also like one of your best friends. Is like, I don't know, I can have whatever idea I want, and I can make Mike like believe it's possible, even if I don't know how to do it. Like, he'll figure out how to do it. I decided to have a drum corps instead of just like a drum set. I guess the idea was just to have this really almost cinematic sound. You know, I think we're in there for, when it's all said and done, like nearly 2 months, and had 40 different musicians come through.
Because that's what makes us feel good, you know, it really is fun.
It's the ones with the sorest throats and the drum corps who have done the most singing. Everybody! La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
I always liked rock music and screaming, and obviously Conor had been a big part of my life, but I had kind of abandoned all that style of music and had done Bright Eyes for like a few years. Only that started hanging out like Denver, Matt Baum, Landon, Ian. I didn't want to get up and just play like Bright Eyes songs like louder, like I wanted it to have its own identity, and so I really tried to craft the lyrics a lot different than Bright Eyes to make it more external, looking out into the world, as opposed to like always the internal. It was just really fun. The first, the record was just, it was cool to do, because I was even telling like Nanzel and everyone like, oh, dude, I'm starting a rock band. It's gonna be sweet, and they all kind of like laughed and were just like, whatever, like, okay. Really think about how many records we were selling until I guess it was apparent that it was gonna sell 100,000, which kind of was insane, and everyone decided was a big deal.
I want to say thanks to you for being the first person to sell 100,000 records on Saddle Creek. Because now, when anybody else tries to sell 100,000, Rob's not going to give us a party. He's probably going to say 500,000, and I don't think I can do it.
It was cool, not so much in the sense of like, God, it's great to sell that many records, but it's more like, it just really was, I think, a time where, just like a little moment where everyone kind of was like, God damn, this has gone way farther than we ever thought it was gonna go,
You came there by, but you will.
It's just a hard word to get my head around what success is. I feel like you just gotta keep doing your thing, and maybe people will keep liking it, and maybe they won't, but as long as you're feeling satisfied in what you're doing creatively, that's the best you can hope for,